Hello viewers, welcome to Top Notch Online TV. With you today is none other than Tr.Fidelis of Alliance High School. I'm a teacher of English, a writer and an author. Today we shall be looking at paper 1 work, and in this case we shall focus on minutes rating. This is something that is normally tested in English paper 1 functional rating, and mostly you'll get this mark being out of 20. So as you start writing, I want us to focus on the main things that you should look at when you write minutes, and we shall start by looking at the title. What is needed in a title? As you write your minutes, you have to look at the group meeting. Is it the debate club? Is it the film club? Is it an AGM? Is it a staff meeting? What is the group meeting? Away from that, consider the venue of the meeting. Where is the venue? Is it in school in this case, or is the meeting taking place maybe in a hotel setup? So you have to think about the venue. Think about the date. When you invite people to come for a meeting, you must think about the date. When are they supposed to come for the meeting? In this case, as we maybe have in most functional writing, you must indicate this by using a complete date. That is, don't use slashes. So as you write your date, for instance, you can use the day. The day can be written in numerals. The month should be written in words, and the year can be indicated in numerals. The next thing that you should have is the time. When is the meeting taking place? Is it at 9 a.m.? Is it at 6 p.m. in the evening? You have to indicate this. Once you have these, then your work on the title is complete. And for maybe candidates, if you write your minute and in the title you miss the 4 things that we have talked about, then you can't get your full mark. So a reminder, have the group or the people meeting, have the venue, have the time, and have the date. The next thing, once you're done with the title, and a reminder, when you write the title, ensure that you write it in capital letters, underline it. And as we discuss minutes writing, I want us to focus on the block format, whereby after every item, we shall be skipping a line. And once you skip a line, then you can go to the next item. So we have the title ready. So learners, what follows next is the list of attendance. In the list of attendance, this is whereby you look at the people attending the meeting. We have members present, the people who are actually in the meeting. We have members absent with apology. We have members who are absent, and we have in attendance. So when you write the members present, ensure that you give a list. And in the question that you're normally given, maybe in an exam setup, you'll be told maybe you're having 8 people who will be attending the meeting. And so as you write the members present, ensure that you have a list from number 1 to number 8. Now, how do you indicate these names? I know students are fond of coming up with fancy names as you write these members, but just come up with normal names that we know that we use every day. So the very first member that you should write, this is the most prominent person, say, in this meeting. I'll give an example of a staff meeting. So if you're having a staff meeting or you're writing minutes in a staff meeting, then the very first person you indicate is the chief principal. Give the name, then have a dash and indicate chief principal. This should be followed by, say, the deputy. Assuming that maybe you're in a school whereby you have 2 deputies, you can have maybe the name of the first deputy. Maybe this is the deputy administration. Then have the deputy academics. This should be followed by other senior teachers. And then the list follows that order until you give the number of members you're supposed to indicate in the list of members present. The next item, we talk of members absent with apology or with apologies. You see, for any reason, if you're not able to attend a certain meeting, then you should call or have a communication with the person who is chairing the meeting and tell them why you're not able to attend the meeting. So once you're done with the members present, then we go to members absent with apology or members absent with apologies. Again, list. And for students in this case, again, look at the question given. In the question given, it will be indicated. Maybe 2 members talked to the chair and they gave apologies. So have this list. This is followed by members absent. This is a list of people who didn't even ask for permission. They just decided, I think I'm busy with other things, and so I won't attend this meeting. So again, have the list depending on the number of people you have been given. Then we have another list in this list, and that is in attendance. I'll take an example of maybe the debate club meeting. If the debate club is having a certain meeting and they decide, today we want to know something about what does it entail for you to be a good, maybe a good presenter, a good speaker. So in this case, you might have someone, a guest, who has been invited to give their insight on this. So in this case, no, this person who is attending this meeting, this person is not a part of the debate club, but they have been invited. So have them in the list of in attendance. If there are 2, give the 2 members. Then have a slash indicate the designation. This guest who is coming today, who is he? Maybe he's the Chief Justice or a prominent lawyer. Someone indicate that. In case you don't indicate, then you won't get a mark for in attendance list. So that being done, now we can start writing the minutes. How do you indicate? How do you showcase that this is a minute? So number 1, you have to consider how you present the minute. Just from the word minute, students, you use MIN in capital letters, MIN from the word minutes in capital letters. Then you can either consider, number 1, the number of minutes that you have, or you can use the number of minutes, you can use the month and the year. So in this case, have minute 1 stroke 2023. We are in the year 2023. Or you can say minute 2 stroke, say October. So that will be stroke 10 stroke the year that is 2023. So now the very first minute that we have, and despite maybe the discussion or the minutes that you have for whatever group, then this is the very first minute that you have when you write minutes. And this is the preliminaries. This is minute number 1. So we'll have minute 1 stroke. We can use the format whereby we use the month. So we say minute 1 stroke 10 stroke 2023. And sometimes you don't have to write the full date, the full year, so like 2023. So you can say minute 1 stroke 10 stroke 23. So that is our first minute. So in the preliminaries, you talk about the chairperson, the person who is chairing this meeting, inviting the people to maybe just be cozy so that they start the meeting. And in this case, what do you expect to see in your writing? You say the chairperson called the meeting to order. The chairperson called the meeting to order and maybe requested one of the members present to pray. Now, as you talk about the person praying, then this should be the person whose name appears in the list of members present. Once you're done with that, we go to minute 2. Remember how we said we indicate the minute? We're using MIN in capital letters. We're using the number of minutes. We are using the month, and we're using the year. So we are having the 3 things. So for minute number 2, we are having minute 2 stroke 10 stroke 2023. This is reading and confirmation of the previous minutes. Reading and confirmation of the previous minutes. Now, in terms of maybe the questions that the students might get in an exam setup, just look at the question. Have you been told about maybe a previous meeting that happened? Think about it. If there's another meeting that happened, then you can have the reading and confirmation of the previous minutes. If this is the first time you're having the meeting, then you won't have previous meetings. But for the sake of the format, then we look at this. This is minute 2, and it's the secretary the secretary reads the minutes of the previous meeting. The secretary. Some students will talk about the chairperson or a member reading the minutes and whatnot, but it is the secretary. Assuming that the secretary is absent, then we must have an acting secretary who reads the minutes. So once the secretary reads the previous minutes, we must have two things. Number one, we have a member who proposes, and we have another member who seconds. So number one, once the minutes have been read, you have one person proposing the minutes to be the true record of the proceedings of the previous minutes. Two things, or rather three. We can talk about three things. Number one, we have the secretary reading the minutes of the previous meeting. Number two, we have one person proposing. What do you propose? You're proposing that whatever this person or the secretary has read, these are the true, or this is a true record of the previous meeting. So once you have one person proposing, you can say maybe Dylan Kamau proposed. This was seconded by maybe Jane Mugo as the true record of the proceedings of the previous minutes. And in any case, even if you're having a different type of a meeting, then this is the same thing that you use. So that is minute number 2. Then when you go to minute number 3, we have matters arising. What are matters arising? This is minute 3/10/2023. Now, matters arising, these are matters arising from the previous minutes. Now, if you had another meeting before the meeting you're having today, and maybe there's something that the group was discussing but they never agreed, that is what you discuss now. I'll continue using, or maybe let me just use something different. Instead of using the debate club, we can use the Chinese club, for instance. You can say in the previous meeting, the Chinese club members wanted to plan for a trip to Beijing. But because of the cost, maybe the cost that would be there, they're not sure. Do we talk to our parents? Do we talk to the school administration? Who do we talk to? So we have matters arising pertaining something that was discussed in the previous minutes. So in this case, when you indicate this, number 1, we have indicated minute 3/October, that is 10 the year, that is 2023. Matters arising. Now, just below that, you have to come up with a different minute number. Remember, we're looking at matters arising from a previous meeting. So what will you have? You'll have something like, assuming that the Chinese club members had this discussion in April. So we'll say, just under matters arising, we shall have minutes, let's say minute 7/4, that is April/2023. Then, what is the discussion? What is the matter that you want to discuss? The matter at hand is a trip to Beijing. So, you have matters arising, and at that have the matter, that is minute 7/April, that is 4/2023. Then, in capital letters, or maybe you can just capitalize the first letter of what you have. So say the trip, or a trip to Beijing. Underline that. Then after that, go back to the margin, because you're using the block format. Go back to the margin and now start writing. What was discussed? You have to talk about the discussion that took place and a resolution, because you're having now to solve these. Once you talk about it, did you talk to the parents, to your parents? Did you talk to the school administration? What was the agreement? So you have that discussed. Now, the next thing, once you're done with matters arising, we go to the next item, and that is the agenda. The agenda, these are the issues that will be discussed in the meeting. So in this case, we can use an academic setup whereby in a school, what do you discuss mostly if you're having a meeting? You will have issues to do with performance, academic performance. You can talk about exam, you can talk about purchase of maybe the new set books that you're having right now. And so in our item number 4, we're looking at the agenda. Now, even if as a student you were to write down the agenda, you can't score just by indicating this is the agenda of the day. This is the issue, or rather, these are the issues that we want to discuss. So once you're done with minute number 4, this is matters arising, then you go to minute number 5. Don't say agenda. Just go to the specific issue under discussion. In this case, we're looking at academic performance. So say minute 5 stroke 10 stroke 2023. What is the issue at hand? Academic performance. Underline that. Go back to the margin and start writing. So what is the discussion under this? Did the students perform well, say, in the end of term exams? Did they, perform as expected? If they did not, what can we do about that? Do we introduce, say, rats? Or do we have cards and then have discussions? Was it that the students did not understand maybe some of the issues that were taught in class by the teacher? How do we handle this? So minute 5 stroke 10 stroke 2023, you talk about academic performance. Discuss it. Once you're done, skip another line, go to the next item. The next item is exams. So say minute 6 stroke 10 stroke 2023. That is exams. How do we handle these? How many exams do we have in a term? Are the exams too many? Are the exams actually helping? What do you feel about it? Have a discussion. And then item number 3, you go to minute 7 stroke 10 stroke 23 or stroke 2023. Purchase of new set books. Maybe the school expected to get these new set books from the government, but this never happened. But since, say for the Form 2s, for instance, you can say it's that time the Form 2s should start reading the set books. Which set book do you start with? Maybe we can talk about the Samaritan. You want to start reading the Samaritan, or maybe Fathers of Nations, the novel that you're having. So you can say, maybe we can have a discussion and ask the parents to contribute a certain amount of money so that we're able to get the new set books. So in this case, you have discussed three issues. These issues are in the agenda. More often than not, in the questions that we have, you'll find that the examiner will actually notify you, discuss ABCD. So as a marking point, as the examiner is marking your work, they'll be looking at the items. So assuming that in this question you have been asked, write minutes of a class teachers meeting that happened on a certain day. The issues discussed included academic performance, exams and purchase of the new set books. So as a student, as a learner, as you write, ensure that you're following the instructions or the content given in that particular question. I hope you're together up to this point, so that by the time you're done with the agenda, you're basically almost done with writing the minutes. So once you're done with that, you go to A or B. This is any other business. A or B. Any other business. So why do we call it any other business? This minute, every issue that is discussed under A or B is an issue that does not appear in the agenda. Remember, in the question that we have looked at, we have discussed 3 issues. So this is a class teachers meeting. Or a class meeting. So away from your teacher discussing the 3 things, what else as a student do you feel should have been discussed? Or maybe as the teachers, what else do you feel should have been discussed in this meeting? So any other issue that was not discussed in this in the agenda is discussed, or rather brought forward in this agenda item. So A or B. List. Don't just write the A or B items in prose. Just say apart from the issues discussed, a certain member, in this case, look at the names that you have given in the list of the members present. Say, Dylan Kamau wanted to talk about maybe the cleanliness in class. He noted that most students were not showering, especially in the cold season. Or maybe the teacher wanted to acknowledge some of the boys who are working hard, and they were making sure that the class mean was going higher and higher. So this is an issue that we discuss under A or B. So you list, say, item number 1, you can use Roman numbers, you can use numerals, say number 1, this is the issue, number 2, this is the issue. You list them. Then once you're done with that, we go to the next thing, and in this case, we look at adjournment. Now, you're done discussing the agenda items, you're done discussing A or B, and now you go to the adjournment. When you talk about the adjournment, we're looking at when the meeting ended. At what time did the meeting end? So this is what you should capture. So you can say the meeting was adjourned once every issue was discussed. The meeting was adjourned at, say, 12:30 p.m. And the chairperson, the person who is in charge of the meeting, you can say the chairperson requested, say, Mr. Henry. Mr. Henry should be part of the members present. So don't come up with maybe a certain member being asked to pray once the meeting has ended, and this person is not even in the list of the members present. So you can say the chairperson requested Mr. Henry to close the meeting with a word of prayer. In this minute, you can also talk about the date for the next meeting. So you can say the next meeting will be maybe in November 2023. Give the date, give the time for the meeting, have that in the adjournment. Once the adjournment is done, now we are finalizing on minutes writing. You go to confirmation. What do you indicate? A reminder that you're still using the block format. So everything is starting at the margin. You're skipping a line after every item. So the moment you're done with adjournment, skip a line or two since now you're done with writing the minutes, and come to the confirmation. Who confirms the minutes? This is the chairperson and the secretary. So once you skip 2 lines, say minutes confirmed by, that clause should be used. Minutes confirmed by. So have chairperson, give some space for the signature and indicate signature, then leave some space. Then the date, when was this done? So leave another space. Go to the secretary, have a space for the signature, and then have another space for the date. Now, this is a note that once you indicate this in the confirmation, you should not sign. Why don't we sign? Because you only sign the minutes once they have been read and confirmed. And this is now done in the next meeting. So as you write the minutes, as you indicate that last clause, you cannot sign. You just leave the blanks. Chairperson, signature, blank space. Date, blank space. Secretary, have a blank for the signature, another blank for the date. And finally, as you write, just know that when you write the minutes, this should be in reported speech. Don't say, we are having a meeting, we are having this discussion, this is what is happening. No, it should be reported. It should be reported. The members agreed to have, say, an end of year party. They agreed to contribute 200 shillings for the sodas. And with that, I'm sure you'll be good to go. And finally, students, as you look at minutes writing, once you're done with your writing, go through your work. Even if it's in an exam setup, look at the timing given, spare 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes to go through the work that you have written to ensure that you don't have any mistakes. Because if you happen to have many spelling mistakes, these are gross errors. And remember, as you get the 20 marks in minutes writing, you will have marks for the format. We have discussed the format. You'll have marks for the content. The content is in question given. So once you look at the question given, then you will know what is expected of you. And lastly, we have marks on language. So how do you score these marks? Ensure that your punctuation is well done. Ensure that you have, used the correct spellings. Ensure that you have commas where you should have them. And with these, you can easily get 18 or actually 20 out of 20. And with that, we're done with minutes writing. And the next time you have, away from the exam setup, the next time you have, say, a meeting with a certain club, you can volunteer. You can volunteer to write minutes so that you keep practicing. And with that, I'm wishing you the very best, the Form 4s, as you prepare for your KCSE exams 2023. I'm wishing you the very best. Until next time, it's a goodbye from me.